everyone, thanks for coming or for coming back. My name is Jillian, also known as Jillian Jigs, and today I'm going to give you my recipe for chocolate caramel thumbprint cookies. So to start, you're going to gather your ingredients and wash your hands. And all the measurements are going to be listed below so that I don't have to give you measurements. So starting with a medium to large bowl, you're going to add your softened butter and give it a beat just to give it a little head start before you add your sugar. Next, you're going to add in your sugar and beat it until it is nicely combined and light and fluffy. Make sure you do this really well, don't just mix it until it's combined. You want it nice and fluffy because these cookies don't have any baking powder or baking soda, so air is really what's going to help it rise. Next, you're going to go ahead and add in your egg, your milk, and your splash of vanilla. Give it another mix and make sure you scrape down the sides of the bowl partway through so that everything gets well combined. In another bowl, you're going to go ahead and whisk together your flour, cocoa powder, and your salt, just until it's combined. Add your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients and beat them again with your mixer until they are combined. Now, this won't look like it's finished, but it will be, okay? It's going to look a little bit crumbly, it won't quite hold together, but if you press it down into your hand, it will form a ball and stick together. So next, you're going to go ahead and use a cookie scoop or your hands just to portion out some equal pieces. I like using a cookie scoop just because it's easier and it gets it really uniform, but if not, you can always just use a couple spoons or just eyeball it. Or something really helpful is if you take all your dough, roll it into a long log, and then cut off pieces that are equal sized. And so you're going to roll those out, and then you're also going to separately roll them together until they're nice and smooth with your hands, because it'll just help the nuts stick a little better. So what I like to do when adding the walnuts is just take the little balls of cookie dough, and I like to have a bowl that has about a single layer of walnuts, and then I'll press the cookies directly into the nuts so that it flattens into a bit of a disc and the walnuts will all stick into one side of the cookie. And then after you do that, you'll want to put them on your parchment lined baking sheet a little bit apart. They're not going to rise too much or spread too much because there's no baking soda or baking powder in this, but you don't want them. And now they're ready to go in the oven, except you have to give them a nice little thumbprint that's going to hold the caramel. So I don't actually like using my thumb to put it into the cookie. I just feel like it's a little small. So I have this measuring spoon that I like to use. It has a very rounded spoon, so I'll use that to put a little indent in the cookie. You can use them if you want to, or use the end of a wooden spoon or something like that. You just need a nice little indent in your cookie. And then these are going to go ahead and go in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 to 10 minutes. They cook pretty fast, so just keep an eye on them. Okay, so while your cookies are baking in the oven, you can go ahead and get started on the caramel that is going to fill your cookies. So this is going to be a dry caramel, so we're going to start with just the sugar in the pan. And the way I actually like to do this is I like to start with just about a tablespoon of sugar, and you'll put it on over medium-low heat, and you're just going to watch it, and you're going to move it around with your spoon just a little bit. Keep it in the center if you can. And what's going to happen is it's going to start to liquefy, and it's going to start to go a little bit brown. It's going to start to caramelize. And at that point, you're going to add a little more sugar. So I'll go bit by bit at a time, adding about the same amount that's already in the pot, so just double the amount you've added each time. And this just makes it a little faster in my opinion. So just keep adding it, and once you've got at least half of it in the pot, just go ahead and add the other half. And you're going to wait for it to melt down, and it'll be all nice and brown and caramelly colored. Make sure that you haven't burnt it at this point. If you've burnt it, then just start over. Otherwise your whole caramel is going to taste burnt. It's going to be awful. it's gonna be bad, okay? Don't bring a caramel. So once you've got all your sugar and your pan, and it's all melted and it's all a nice caramel color, you're gonna take it off the heat. And I didn't get this part on camera, but you're gonna add your butter. You're gonna slowly add your cream and vanilla mixture because it'll spurt up a little bit if you add it too fast. And then just make sure your butter's all melted, and then go ahead and put it back on the heat. This time you can go medium, high, and you're gonna need a candy thermometer. You're gonna bring it to 118 degrees Celsius. It should go pretty fast, so don't worry about that. Once your caramel is at 118 degrees Celsius, take it off the heat, pour it out of your pan into a heat-proof bowl so that it'll stop cooking and start to cool down. Your chocolate and your butter for the chocolate drizzle, you're gonna put them in a bowl over top of your pot, which will have a few inches of water in it, and just put it on the heat, medium temperature, and you just want enough steam happening there, then it'll melt your chocolate and your butter. So get your chocolate going, and then you can go back to your caramel. So for the caramel, I like to spoon it into the cookies while it's still rather hot, because it will get a little bit thicker as it cools down, which will make it harder to put into the cookies, but it'll never be like solid. If it gets too cool and you can't spoon it in easily and it won't smooth over, then you can always put it back over a pot of hot water and just melt it down a little more, make it easy to go again. So I like to use 2 spoons, and you'll just pick up a little bit of caramel and then coax it off the spoon into the cookie, and it'll flatten out on its own as long as it's still a fairly liquid consistency. And I did leave the recipe. There's a little too much caramel that I put in the recipe, so you can go ahead and cut this in half if you like, or you can still make the whole amount, and then you can use the caramel for a sundae. It'll be great. Usually in the time that it makes to fill the cookies, the chocolate should be melted and ready to go. So put the chocolate on top of the cookie. You can just use a spoon if you like, and just sort of drizzle it on, just drizzle it on with a spoon. I like to be fancy, I like to pipe it. If you don't have a piping bag, I'm going to show you a really easy way to make one. It might be a little difficult the first couple times, but after the first couple times it's really easy, don't worry. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a square of parchment paper, you're going to fold it in half into triangles, then you're going to cut it into 2 triangles from that. So with just one, you're going to take it, I like to set it so that the long end of the triangle is facing away from me. And then I'll take one of the tips that is further away from me, I'll fold it over and match it up to the tip of the triangle that's facing me to make a sort of cone. And then what you want to do is you want to hold those 2 triangle points together. And you want to take the 3rd point and wrap it around the whole thing so that it's the outside of the cone at the back half. And then you'll just sort of have to roll up the outside layer so that you make like a nice tight cone. What you want to do ideally is have very little of a gap at the tip of the cone. And then to secure that all in place, you'll just fold over the 3 layers towards the inside of the cone. If you like to make it a little more secure, you can add a rip, or you can add a second fold, and then that's your cone. There'll be a video that I put in that'll make it so much easier to understand, but I'll show it there. And then what you want to do is you want to take your cone, and if you prop it up in a glass, then it's really easy to just add your melted chocolate into the cone without it falling over. Okay, so once you've got your cone done, just prop it up in your glass, and you can add in your melted chocolate butter mixture, and then you're going to fold your cone in half. What you want to do is you want to make sure that the crease where you can see the papers fold over each other, you want to make sure that's not the edge of your cone, your flattened cone. You want to make sure it's in the middle of one of the sides, or else it's easier for the cone to burst open and for you to get chocolate everywhere, which maybe isn't a problem, but it's a little messy. So you're going to make sure that that's the middle of one of the sides, And then you're gonna fold the paper down away from the crease and then just bunch it all up so that you can hold it and drizzle your chocolate. Then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna cut off the tip of it, and you can just pipe all over your cookies. Make it rain chocolate. And here, I gave you too much chocolate again. You can go ahead, you can cut down the recipe if you like. It's up to you. And that's it. That's your cookies. We're all done. That's everything I've got for you. So, thank you for coming. I hope you come back. And I'll see you next time. Bye.